Hello and welcome to Extreme Home Cooking, the show where we home cook extremely. On today's episode, the ultimate narrative sandwich. First you gotta start off with your structure, your bread, and this starts with the exposition. Don't worry, I like to crack lots of jokes. This is where you introduce characters and context that establish the foundation of a well-balanced narrative that engages audiences in the flavorful story of a lifetime. Now for the rising action. Watch that dough rise. Now the climax, the most exciting part. Put it in the oven. Then the falling action. Watch the dough cool. Then the resolution, or as I like to say, the crust-lution. Take a look at this bread. It makes sense, right? You put dough in the oven and you got out bread. You didn't get out soup. Likewise, in your stories, your crust-lution has to be logical. Now, when cooking the perfect story, you need conflict. The meat of the story. If there's no beef between the heroes and the villains or society or whatever the evil force may be, you will not have a delicious sandwich. See what I did there? Beef as in the meat and beef as in like a grudge, conflict. But a meat-only sandwich would be boring, right? Let's dress it up, and no, not with tiny dresses, but with cheese, lettuce, tomato, and lettuce, or as I like to call them, figurative language, sensory details, and dialogue. Now it may sound cheesy, but figurative language is like cheese, strong on its own and enhances the work it is in. Use this cheese to develop your characters, settings, and events. Next, the brilliant, scarlet, sweet, and fragrant tomato. So many sights, smells, and tastes with this little fella, those of which you can use to develop your characters, settings, and events. Now let us talk about lettuce. Dialogue looks like it has no taste and does nothing for your sandwich, but it actually helps so much. Use dialogue to solidify character traits by having characters say things consistent with their personalities. Now look at the proportions of this sandwich. Not too much of anything. You want your stories to be similarly paced. For instance, if your pace drags, if your sandwich has too much lettuce, then it may as well be a salad, and nobody wants a salad. If the pacing of your story is too fast, and you just have bread, then you can't develop your characters or your flavors. I almost forgot the story enhancers. Transition words, or as I like to call them, condiments. Transition words shift one time frame or setting to another, and on a sandwich, they shift it from a good lunch to a first-class ticket to Flavortown. The last thing is, there are two types of sandwiches, and in this context, sandwiches are characters, and those two types are static and dynamic. The static sandwiches stay the same over the course of the story. Like, the flavors are so boring that you don't even want to finish the sandwich. With dynamic sandwiches, they grow and change over the course of the narrative. They always have engaging flavors. That's all, folks. Time certainly flies when you're having fun. You now have the ultimate narrative sandwich. Next time, we'll be cooking punctuation cookies, so tune in next week to see how that all pans out.